From news and views, issues and opportunities, we'll have in-depth conversations with decision makers to find out what they know and what they think. I'm Rico Hizon, inviting you to join the exchange because your business is our business. A disruption in global trade caused by a raging conflict is posing a challenge to Filipino food producers. Former trading partners have shut their borders with Russia and they're shifting to the Asian market. Can Filipino food exporters rise up to the occasion? In the local capital market, over 1 million people opened an investor account at the Philippine Stock Exchange to seek ways to grow their money. And the benefits of hybrid work are again front and center as companies and employees save on transportation costs. The vision of technology-empowered and future-ready businesses in our C-Suite vision. Beyond causing supply chain disruptions, the war in Eastern Europe is also putting the country's trade prospects at risk. Local food producers are facing tough competition from much bigger foreign players entering our target markets. Let's now have an exchange with Ruben C. of the Philippine Food Processors and Exporters Organization and Stephen Antig of the Filipino Banana Growers and Exporters Association. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on the exchange. Ruben, let's start off with you. How big is the impact of this conflict in Eastern Europe on the local manufacturing sector, especially the export-oriented industries?
Well, even before the Ukraine-Russia war, the export-oriented industries were already affected by the restriction brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic for almost 2 years.
So now we have a double whammy, no? We have the COVID-19 restrictions and then now this invasion of Ukraine. With that double whammy, how much bigger is the impact on the export sector?
Well, with this, the impact is that there's a rising prices of fuel, high cost of electricity, increased price of raw materials and packaging materials. Then we have a shortage of food grade container. Then there is an increase of shipping rate like 100% to 400%. For example, in the U.S., before we're paying 1x40 food container is about 3,000 to 5,000. But now, during the pandemic time, it goes up to 15,000 to 20,000 per container, in 40-foot container.
Wow.
For example, in Japan, we export, the rate is about $100 to $200. But now it goes up to $1,000.
Wow, that is a litany of problems for our exporters. Ruben, Stephen, your group expressed concern Latin American banana growers and exporters will erode the Asian market due to the closure of the Russian market. Is this happening already?
Well, actually, right now, it's starting to happen. But even before the war in Ukraine and Russia, Latin American producers have always encroached in our markets whenever they have an excess supply of bananas. But this time, because of the ongoing war in Russia and Ukraine, we fear that the encroachment and their eating into our market share will be much higher.
But it's not only that. You say that is a problem for the banana growers. You also have issues of pests and diseases, which have been haunting the market for years.
Well, actually, the reason why we're not as competitive as before is because of these pests and diseases which have wrought havoc in our plantations, and we're losing a lot of hectareage over time.
And basically, Stephen, what would you say is the edge of the Philippine bananas compared to the global market?
As it is right now, Rico, we still pride ourselves that we produce the highest quality bananas even among the competitors.
And Ruben, you mentioned earlier a litany of problems that the export sector is facing. Which particular sectors, though, or industries are the hardest hit?
Of course, the food processor. Yeah, because like for example in Ukraine-Russia war, we lost our market also in Ukraine and Russia, and also the surrounding countries. So that's also a big sales for our group.
And this is having a drastic impact on factory output?
Yes, yes.
And Stephen, what are the solutions you think we can do right now for the banana growers?
Well, for one thing, Rico, we have to harmonize the different government policies, no? Because it would appear that one agency is concerned of one thing, while the other agency's concern is in conflict with the other agency. For one thing, we cannot expand because of restrictions in the acquisition of land.
What can we do for our Philippine banana growers if we're being stifled by the overseas market? Is there demand for local bananas here at home?
No, definitely not. Because we're not used to eating what we export. We'd rather eat the native variety like the Lakatan and the Lapundan.
So what are the prospects now for Philippine bananas going forward?
The market is still, I would say, attractive. All we have to do is to maintain our quality and increase the volume of production by doing research and trying to contain the further spread of this TR4 disease in banana plantations.
And Ruben, what is your outlook for the export sector for the remainder of the year? Is it looking up, turning the corner, or looking down?
Well, we're looking up. Yeah, because as of now, the world is getting to normal. So we're looking at the situation will be back to normal. So maybe we can export more in the future in this second half of the year.
What would you recommend to the incoming administration, Stephen, to help the banana growers in the country?
But definitely the setting up of a research and development facility will greatly help not only the banana industry but the agricultural sector. We need to improve on our varieties to be able to compete, and varieties that are resistant to the pests and diseases. Otherwise, we will not be able to increase our production as well as maintain the quality of the bananas that we're exporting.
Thank you, gentlemen, for this Exporters Exchange. Ruben C. of the Philippine Food Processors and Exporters Organization, and Stephen Antig of the Filipino Banana Growers and Exporters Association. Here now is a rundown of this week's top business stories. The U.S. Federal Reserve raised interest rates by 3/4 of a point, the largest rate hike in nearly 30 years. Economists expect the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas to raise interest rates by 1/4 of a point following the Fed's move. And the Philippines borrows more than 17 billion pesos from China to fund the construction of a two-way, 4-lane bridge in Mindanao. The project is expected to cut travel time between Davao City and the island garden city of Samal. And straight ahead on the exchange, where your business is our business. Over 1 million people have now opened Philippine Stock Exchange investor accounts as of 2021. PSE President and CEO Ramon Monzon joins us next to tell us about investing in stocks, the risks and rewards. And is the country's digital infrastructure sufficient for companies to sustain hybrid work? The President and CEO of IT service provider Gurlavi shares his insights right here on CNN Philippines. News you can trust. Glad you're staying with us right here on the exchange, where your business is our business. I'm Rico Hizon. More people are now into online trading. Online accounts at the Philippine Stock Exchange grew by over 20% last year, bringing the total number of online investors to over 1 million. Joining us now is Philippine Stock Exchange President and CEO Ramon Monzon. Mr. Monzon, great to have you with us. What led to this increase in online stock market accounts?
Well, Rico, during the pandemic, we really had a big participation by the retail investors. In fact, for January 2021, for the first time ever, retail investors comprised 50.7% of the traded volume. I mean, that's never happened before. So I guess being kept at home under lockdown has helped a lot, in getting more investors.
So, Mr. Monzon, these online accounts, they just didn't sign up. They're also active retail investors.
Well, actually, of these online accounts, more or less 40 are active investors, regular investors. Not all of them are active investors.
All right.
Based on our records, about 40%.
Well, 40% is a good number already in itself. Mr. Monzon, Isabel Naranjilla, a social media specialist, is interested in investing, and she has this question for you.
What kind of advice would you give to first-time investors?
There you
First-time
go.
investors.
First-time investors. Should they get into the stock market blindly?
No, I mean, the first thing I would advise you to do is attend our webinars. We have several webinars. We do it twice a month. Get yourself exposed in the market. And so actually, when I go on road shows, what I advise the new investors is don't jump into the market right away. Invest in mutual funds or in UITFs of banks. Okay, these are funds that are managed by professionals.
Share with us the risk and rewards of a mutual fund versus investing in just one company in the stock market.
Well, as they say, in investing, diversification is king. Okay, high risk, high reward. You could make a lot of money on one stock or lose all your money in one stock.
Right.
In a basket of stocks, you will have a lower return, but a more assured return, I think.
Also, that basket of stocks is the mutual fund. And Franz Hechanova, a senior tax consultant, and Kezia Rapaz, a government employee, have also these questions for you, Mr. Monzon.
Given the current bear market, how do we encourage newbie investors and those who are yet to start to invest in Philippine stocks?
Paano ako makakasiguro na hindi ako malulugi or hindi masasayang ang investment ko?
There you go, Mr. Monzon, losing money in the stock market. Can you investors stomach the roller coaster ride and the gyrations of stocks?
Well, number one, when we say invest in the stock market, I mean, listen to the word, invest, no? Hindi speculate. Ibig sabihin nun, when you invest in the market, you have to be, number one, you invest your free funds. Funds that you will not need in the next 3 months or 6 months. It's something that you've really set aside for savings. Because if you do that, then, I can assure, the market has gone through ups and downs, but always the market has rebounded to higher levels. So you have to invest for the long term, number one. Number two, you have to invest in quality stocks. You have to study the stocks you invest in. Do not listen to tips, okay? Or this get money quick rich schemes. It can't happen that way. Investing is something you must learn.
And over the past several months, there have been a lot of new public offerings from the real estate sector, from renewable energy, etc. How can retail investors, small investors, invest in these initial public offerings? Is it not cornered by big institutional and big investment players?
That was true a long time ago, Rico, but now we have what we call in every IPO, 10% of the IPO shares are allocated for local small investors, or we call them LSI. It used to be very tedious for an LSI to invest in an IPO because there was a limit of 25,000 pesos. He had to go to one of the 3 or 4 kiosk where, he would get an application form, show his ID, government ID, fill up the application form, bring this application form to a broker to endorse the application form, and then bring it back again to the kiosk and then make a payment, all for 25,000. So the first thing we did when I took over, we increased the allocation to 100,000, and now it goes even up to 1 million. Okay, what is this? So in 2018, we took out this manual process. We had a digital platform created for local small investor. We call this the PSE EC, Electronic Allocation System. Now, if you register with PSEC, you only register one time. Again, just go to ec.pse.com.ph.
All right.
Every IPO now, you will get a notice and an allocation.
That is really great news, Mr. Monzon, because this will also widen the investor base, particularly for IPOs.
Correct. Rico, before the PSEC platform was launched, we would have, investors from Metro Manila. Now we have investors from more than 80 provinces, more than 15 countries and 5 territories now investing in IPOs.
And of course, the news of the week, the Philippine Stock Exchange will be closing its trading floor. What's behind the move and what will happen basically to the building that was just recently built?
Okay, just to give you a very quick background, Rico. When we were building this office in the BGC, the original plan was really not to have a trading floor because all the regional exchanges don't have trading floors anymore. But the brokers were able to prevail on the board to have a small trading floor. So we did build a trading floor. We had 85 of the 125 brokers renting booths in the trading floor. However, during the pandemic, when there were lockdowns, it was very clear that we were able to close a trading floor in a question of one day, and trading continued seamlessly for the next 2-3 months without a trading floor. Now, during the pandemic, the lease term for the trading booths expired. So when we asked for renewals, only 29 of the 85 wanted to have a booth on the trading floor. And of this 29 now, even as of today, only about 8 to 10 of these brokers have traders on the trading floor. So it really means there's no need for a trading floor. It reflects the reality that trading now is digital. And so we decided to close the trading floor and make more productive use of that space.
Thank you so much for this Stock Market Education Exchange, PSE President and CEO Ramon Monzon. And still ahead on the exchange, where your business is our business. With the pandemic and rising fuel costs, is hybrid work the better option for most companies in the country? We talked to Gurlavi, a corporation focusing on business communication solutions, next. Welcome back right here on the exchange, where your business is our business. I'm Rico Hizon. The COVID-19 pandemic has accelerated digital transformation in the country. A number of companies have adopted telecommuting, and as restrictions ease, hybrid work has become the new normal. Let's now have an exchange with Erwin Ko, President and CEO of Gurlavi, a company specializing in business communication solutions. Erwin, thank you so much for joining us on the exchange. Is the hybrid model the future of the workplace?
Hello, Rico. Thank you for having me here today. We are all social beings and nothing beats face-to-face interactions. However, when the pandemic happened, most of the non-essential industries began asking their employees to work from home. After a while, it blurred the lines between personal and work life, which resulted in work-life balance and mental health issues because of the always-on culture. Hybrid work doesn't exclusively mean it's always the office or home. It also means business travels, taking sales calls outside the office, and doing work while on vacation. It is equally important to consider increasing gasoline prices and traffic congestions. A lot of companies now realize that hybrid work setup is their best option, and that's why I believe it is here to stay.
What about the country's digital infrastructure? Erwin, is it resilient, strong enough to handle the demands of hybrid work?
Today, more than 75 million Filipinos are connected to the internet. We spend the most time, each person averaging more than 10 hours each day, looking at their phones. We've seen the improvement in internet speeds in the past 2 years. And as new telcos come into the picture, the digital infrastructure of the country will continue to grow. A few years back, we're not as confident on the stability of our internet connection. But today, Filipinos are always connected, whether through fiber, DSL, or mobile data connections.
And eventually, down the road, especially in the rural areas, we will have satellite internet connection. Erwin, tell us about the solution you came up with for hybrid work.
So Televi Cloud is a unified communication service. Unified communication means voice, messaging, call center, and video collaboration all in just one platform. Televi Cloud lets you receive office landline calls wherever you are using a mobile app, tablet, IP phone, or any web browser. As a service, we make things convenient because customers can simply subscribe to monthly plans and pay as they go. It's highly scalable and easy to deploy. It enables mobility and increases company productivity at a fraction of the cost versus on-premise systems.
All right, multifaceted.
When it comes to customer inquiries, if, for example, you're in a meeting or on a vacation or simply having lunch, chances are you won't be picking up the call. So what if Televi can transfer the call to the next available person? In this competitive world, it's all about making and keeping customers happy. And Televi helps with the convenience of doing just that.
All right, making your customers happy. That's the bottom line with all services, Erwin. And when we talk about the cloud, the first question that will always be raised is data security. How can you ensure safety against cyber attacks?
Televi Cloud offers multiple forms of security, from multi-factor authentication, encryption, use of tokens, unique and strong passwords per device, and many, many more. So if you look at the total system with all these layers of security, Televi Cloud is absolutely safe and secure.
Is the market ready, Erwin, to embrace this kind of technology?
Yes, I believe it definitely is. No? So we have been selling telephony systems for many years. A few years ago, about 80% of all inquiries that we received were on-premise based, meaning customers wanted physical servers in their offices. Now, in comparison, about 80% of all inquiries are cloud-based. Companies now are realizing the huge benefits of moving their communication platforms to the cloud. Televi Cloud is a telco-grade, highly available and scalable solution that helps companies lower their total cost of ownership. It's easy to deploy, and companies are able to manage their organization through a single pane of glass.
So, Erwin, where can people go if they want to learn more about your business communication solutions? Do you have social media pages?
So if you want to know more about Televi Cloud, you may visit our website at televi.com.ph. Follow us also on Facebook and LinkedIn to find out more about the latest updates on our services.
Thank you so much, Erwin, for this hybrid work exchange. Your lovely President and CEO, Erwin Ko. And this week, netizens bid goodbye to what was once the king of internet browsers. Internet Explorer was retired on Wednesday, with Microsoft no longer supporting the application on certain versions of its Windows 10 operating system. The company released an entirely new app called Microsoft Edge in 2015, replacing the browser. Thank you so much, Internet Explorer, for your service over the past 27 years. And this is the exchange. We make sense of the facts and the figures and the ups and downs of the business cycle, because your business is our business. I'm Rico Hizon. Thanks for watching CNN Philippines. News you can use. News you can trust.